Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to be doing a bunch of little stuff in the greenhouse. I came out here this morning and I felt this mat and it wasn't on. It appears when I yanked on this cord just a little bit yesterday to get it over to this side, I unplugged it halfway. I have two cords here, so I unplugged it halfway to the outlet. So this was off last night, and I think it was a bit below freezing, but it was still warm enough in here. It didn't kill the plants, and it actually looks like quite a few of them came up. So that's a good thing. But tonight is the coldest, maybe the last really cold night of the year, or at least of the spring. It's supposed to be 22 degrees tonight, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to move this to this side. I'm just 6 inches away from plugging that in, so I'm going to move that back over to here. I went and got a piece of drywall. I'm going to set the drywall on here and then put the mat and the two flats on that so that I have some kind of thermal mass. I don't want to put the mat right on this wire because it'll act like a radiator and suck the heat out of it, and it's not going to do a hell of a lot. So that's one of the things. Then I have a thermostat for it to turn it off. I'm going to turn it off when it's like, I don't know, maybe 50 degrees or so. These like it cool, so I don't want it at 75, 80 like these other ones are. Then I am going to remove this mat and substitute the two single mats, and the stuff that's already sprouted are going to go on those single mats. I don't know, some of these might be able to come out of here now, but we'll see. I'll decide that later. And I got to do the morning routine, open the place up, open this side and the far side, and take the covers off, water where needed, but I have to thin at least two flats. Two full flats need a good thinning, so quite a bit of work in here today. Then I'm hoping the wind dies down. It's supposed to steadily get slower as the day burns on. If the wind dies down enough, I'm going to get down by the vineyard and burn piles. They're getting pretty damn big, and they have to be gone before the plant starts shooting. So hopefully I can get that done later, but that'll be a different video. There's plenty of stuff to do in here. Oh, and I have to tighten up the rings on the barrels. Lots of miscellaneous little stuff, so let's get started. Looking pretty good. Got nothing in the hair grass yet, wavy hair grass. Oh, there's one right there. Not sure how well you can see that. Hopefully that's my actual wavy hair grass and not some weed. Oh, there's one right there too. So I got two in the wavy hair grass. This is obviously not purple prairie clover. It's some kind of weed. It's got some nice roots on it though. This is pretty dry. This will need to be watered. So this is pretty dry as well. So a bunch of watering, and we get these thinned out. Now let's take a look, a little better look at them. This hasn't changed a whole lot. They're getting a little bigger, but not a lot of new ones have come out. This is just turning into a salad, so this butterfly weed really needs to be thinned today. The June grass, we got one here, got a couple here. So the June grass and the hair grass, those were planted a good deal later than everything else. And both of them have 2 plants up, so that's good. Or more. There's 2 there too as well. So we got 3 coming up here and 2 over there. Over to the purple milkweed. This is off of the threatened list, so it's no longer a threatened plant, but that's okay. This version of milkweed is not as invasive as common milkweed. We have common milkweed growing in the ditch in front of the house, and it's just taking over everything, and it's going into the garden and everything, so I got to get rid of that. And I'm going to replace it with this purple milkweed, which kind of stays put, and it's going to be amongst the grasses. And that butterfly weed, that is also a milkweed, and like common milkweed, the monarchs and several other insects depend on it solely for their survival. So the purple milkweed we got, they're really hard to see when they first come up, but we got one there. They're very thin stemmed when they first come up, and then they take forever to get rid of their seed covering. So not a whole lot of action. When I sprouted these, I did this last year as well, but I did it in the house. I germinated some purple milkweed, and it took a very long time to get them all, well, they didn't all germinate, but all that did germinate took quite some time to germinate, so they're kind of on the slow side. Okay, so what I got to do now is this doesn't need watering. This I watered yesterday. A couple of those need watering. I'm going to get that done, and then I am going to start thinning. So have quite the jumble on some of these. They really need a good thinning. I need to cut them and then pull the, you don't want to leave the plant matter in there, just in case it has a little bit of disease on it. I'm really surprised that some of these cells are empty. Well, I guess that's the only empty one, because this has got some stuff coming up. The way, you know, some of these cells just exploded with butterfly weed. There is still a little bit of yellowing on these, and I really don't know what the heck's causing it. You know, it could be overwatering, underwatering, lack of nutrition. But usually, you know, this is a starting soil, so it has a little bit of fertilizer in it to start with, so it shouldn't really be lack of nutrition. And I don't know, the lights are at the right height. I really don't know what's causing these, you know, and it's not all of them. There's just some of them are a little on the yellow side. And it may be the overcrowding. We'll find that out once I thin this out today. So, and these are, yeah, this still has a little bit of dampness. Very soon, I'm going to let these get pretty dry in between waterings. That'll harden them off, and it'll make them a whole lot stronger than keeping them babied. But they do need a little bit of wind soon as well. I need to get some more airflow in here. I bought a little fan, but unfortunately I did not read the description well enough, and it runs off of a cigarette lighter. So I'm gonna have to see if I can get an adapter at the store locally. They want like $15 for it on Amazon, and there's no way I'm paying that much for an adapter. So I'll either have to send it back or use it in my truck where I got no air conditioning. One of my trucks. But I do need a small oscillating fan. I also need an oscillating fan on a stand, a larger one, because these are going to be out of this and on the tables, and they'll need a fan blowing across them to get the circulation that they need. Okay, this one's ready to slip to the other side. This is such a pain in the butt working with these 98 flats. Never again. If you haven't seen the other videos, they're too short. They don't reach the bottom, so you have to put 3/4 inch wood or something in the bottom for them to sit on. I could put perlite or something like that in there, and maybe it would wick up into them. I don't know, but that seems like kind of a waste to pour all that. You know, perlite's not cheap. It would take a good amount of perlite to fill 3/4 of an inch in there. So let me see if I can do this. Yeah, very dry. Yeah, and that's another thing. They dry out real quick because they're so shallow. Yeah, these are the only ones like that, so I don't think I'll do this again, the 98 count. I think I'll just do more of the next one down. I think it's 70 something, which would be fine. I'm not going to be planting a zillion plants every year like this. This is just to get the ditch gardens started, because I'm spraying pre-emergent in them because they're just full of foxtail and other weeds. I'm going to spray pre-emergent to stop the weeds while I plant all this, give this a head start for next year, and eventually the native plants will choke out foxtail. These are much more aggressive plants once they get started. Okay, time to thin. about wrap it up. Everything's nice and thinned out. These two are no longer on heating pads. That one should be off of a pad soon as well. So shortly I'll have 4 off so I can start removing pads. I can probably do that tomorrow. Just put one of these over on here and move that one off of a pad. You're supposed to do it when they're about a 1/2 inch. These are roughly a 1/2 inch, and some of these are as well. And if you don't, they will start shooting up and get real gangly real quick. So I got all my thinning done, got the barrels, got the lids tightened up on them. I had to open both of the door vents because when I got out here it was 57 and it got to 67 real quick. That's when I opened them, and now with them open it's 75. So very, very soon I need to get my bracket for this done. I really should have 2 of these, one pulling air in and one blowing it out. But that also means that I need to get these pipes assembled. If you watched last year when I set this up, this bottom panel here, the pipes go in along the bottom and then it gets rolled up and then bungeed through these holes so you get air coming in at the bottom. Unfortunately, there's a manufacturing defect on this and the ends aren't open. Shelter Logic took care of, they gave me a new cover for it, but I gotta cut an opening in those to get these pipes in. And I believe I have a couple more sitting over in the shed that I gotta bring over here. These pipes, you absolutely gotta tape these together with something pretty damn tough. I have some Gorilla tape that I'm going to use on those. I mean, they're going to be 20 feet long, and even on the doors where you have, well, it would be the full size, where it's 12 feet, I think they have 4 pieces in the door ones, the roll-up doors, and they come apart constantly. So that has to be done real soon too. So yeah, I'm glad I got all this stuff done today. Oh, and I got my thermostat for this. I have this one set at 50. I only want it to come on at night so that these don't freeze at night. And last night, apparently, it was supposed to get below freezing or right about freezing, but it was probably still warm enough in here so that it didn't freeze in here. The thermal mass should have stopped it from freezing, and maybe it did. But tonight is, like I said, 22 degrees tonight. So I'm going to put the covers on these, make damn sure that this thing is working. It should be on at that time. Later on tonight I'll come back in here, make sure this is on and heating it, and cover these, and I'll put a blanket over it just in case. And after tonight, I don't think there's any nights that are that cold, at least in the 10-day. I don't think there's any below freezing, but 22 is cold enough to kill the stuff, so gotta make sure everything's on the up and up tonight. So that's about it for in here. I got other work to do. Oh, I watered this little guy too, and he could use a little watering again. This is what's left of the wavy hair grass after I put one seed in each of my openings over there. There was, I believe, 45 seeds in there. There was supposed to be 50, but hopefully most of them come up. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to find seeds for that. And oops, there goes the wife. Once I have a few of these growing, then I'll have a source for seeds, but right now that's about it. Okay, I better wrap this up. I have to get down to the vineyard and I need to tie up the last 2 rows and burn the waste from last year. So make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon and you'll be notified when that video is posted. Thanks for watching and have a great day.